Right, let's kick things off today. Firstly, by apologising for the lack of video yesterday. It was just busy, didn't have a chance to get one done. But while I've been away, we have got the opportunity to welcome 2 more people aboard the Lollujo party bus. So thank you for getting involved in the Patreon. Liam Hammond, who has a signed one of the first 10k shirt on his way to him, and Josh McCallan. Thank you very much for supporting me on Patreon. Welcome aboard the bus. If you too would like to get involved in my Patreon, you can find all the details at patreon.com/Lollujo or over at the website lollujo.fm. Thank you very much for your support. Hello and welcome to Season 7, Part 7 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have the final 2 games of the first bit of the Scottish season. I don't really understand how it works. It's games 32 and 33 before the split. We're away against Ross County and then away again against Inverness. Any hopes we might have had of having a push for the title or a push for a Champions League spot are long gone, as you can see by that league table. And we're actually going into these 2 games worried that we might not make it into the top half of the table, because Ross County, who were top of the league for quite a long time, are down in 7th place now. We play them today. They're only 4 points behind us. So if they beat us, that gap's only 1 point. There's several teams hot on our tails. And at this stage, it's looking more likely that we'll just have a collapse and fall out of it than secure the final European spot that we're hoping to secure. And it's all because our form has suddenly taken a turn for the horrific. As you can see, we were awful against Motherwell. Bearing in mind Motherwell are in the Championship, not even top of the Championship. Couldn't beat them over 2 different games in the FA Cup or Challenge Cup or Scottish Cup, whatever it's called. It's too many cups. But we drew 1-1 in the first leg, and we only managed to scrape that thanks to a 93rd minute equaliser. And then in the second leg, it was 2-2 after extra time, and then we just got thumped in extra time. Got knocked out. That seems to have knocked the stuffing out of us, because we've also lost to Hearts, Partick Thistle and Celtic in the league. We've had a couple of friendlies against little clubs to try and get us a confidence booster back. It doesn't seem to have made too much difference just yet. And we've only actually won 1 game in the league in the last, 7 or 8. We're in free fall. We've been found out. We have to beat Ross County today, and I'm not that hopeful that we will, because Partick Thistle are way down. There you go, they're 9th, and we lost to them. Comfortably lost to them as well. It wasn't even close. So the team we've got for today's game. We've got Miguel in goal, a back 4 of Harfield, Jackson, McIntosh, who finally is in the team. He's pushed in ahead of Devlin, although looking at their form over the last 5 games, I don't really know why, other than the fact that McIntosh was whinging and wanted to leave because he wasn't getting any game time. And I thought, you know what, I've got to get him in the team because he's worth too much money to not play him. And I imagine that's probably part of the reason why our form's not so good, because we've gone from having the 2 best players in the SPL, in Jackson and Devlin as our centre-back partnership, to dropping one of them, putting an untried kid in, and all of a sudden we're losing games. Kev can't work out why. Who knows? And then we've got Hendry at right back. And midfield of the returning Matty Cash, we've missed him. I think one of the reasons we've struggled is because he's been out injured for a little while, so he's back today, along with Doherty and Hamilton in midfield, and then Logan in behind, Burkhart and Knox. We've stopped messing around with the other combinations that we've been trying up front. We're just going to go back to what has worked. Knox and Burkhart. Fingers crossed we can pick up a win today against Ross County. Or, I mean, even a draw. I think mathematically a draw is probably enough to secure us a top half of the table finish. Let's have a look at. So if we draw with them, we'll still be 4 points ahead of them. Yeah, and then they can't catch us. So even a draw today secures us a top half finish. We're not just in this for the top half finish, though. We want to get into Europe. We've done really well, performed massively above expectations, and it would be a real shame for it to all fall apart at the end, thanks to a promising youngster and a manager who can't be strong enough to say no to him. Right. I'm also hoping that because all that happened in one session of Football Manager last night, that the fact that I've now closed the game, opened it up again, means the Football Manager gremlins will disappear and we'll get back to winning ways. Because it was just a losing session. We don't need to worry, because this is going to be a winning session. Please. I thought I'd hate it when it sort of pauses when a cross comes in like that, because it usually means a penalty, but it looks like we've got away with it. Knox far too deep, doesn't know where to put the ball, but finds Cash. Burkhart now out to Hamilton. We're getting a bit of possession here, and Hendry crosses to Knox, who tucks it away. That's Matthew Knox's first goal for a little while. He's not. It got to the point where we were playing Hardy ahead of him sometimes. He was just in poor form. We've gone back to what worked for us early in the season today, and we're 1-0 up, and we're ahead in a game for the first time in ages. And that's a lovely little drilled cross from Hendry, and Knox just gets into the right place at the right time. Tucks it past the goalkeeper. He didn't even really change the trajectory of the ball. It probably looked like it was going to go in anyway. And I think more than anything, Knox confused the goalkeeper by just adding a bit more pace to it, but keeping it on the same course. Hence, it beat the keeper. But who cares how it went in? The important thing is that it did. And McIntosh has just made a good challenge, and we're away again. And Burkhart's through. We've seen him score goals like this before, and it just whistles past the post. It's all looking a little bit more positive again. Obviously, the joy of saving the game and opening it back up again works again, unless we're going to throw it all away in this second half. I mean, if we things finish like this, then not only have we secured our top half finish, but we're also opening up a 5-point gap for the European spots. And as I'm saying that, we let the equaliser in. It's still enough to keep us in the top half, but that gap between us and Hearts looks a lot less promising. And obviously now Ross County are in the ascendancy as well. I mean, they're a team who are quite capable of mixing it with the best of them in this league. They were top of the table for a lot of the first half of the year before completely going into freefall, and now looking like they might not even finish in the top half. But obviously a win for them today gets them back on the right track, and they could get that top half finish, which allows them to then push on for a European spot, ideally competing with us. But obviously if they beat us, they won't be competing with us because we'll struggle to get it then. It's all very complicated. That's some lovely football, and that is one of the most delightful goals you will ever see a team in Football Manager score. The way we've kept possession in there, knocking it around in little triangles between our midfield three before finding Harfield overlapping in space. Lovely little low cross again. It seems to be the way we score our goals, low crosses. We don't score a lot of headers, but we drill the ball across the goal. And we've got two players in there who are very capable of turning away a half chance when it's presented to them. It's 2-1, and we can start being positive again until the inevitable equaliser, just to add excitement towards the end of things. Right, McBride is coming on. He hasn't played for a long time for us, but we'll give him the opportunity again today. And we're also going to take off, I feel like I should probably take off Matty Cash because he is just coming back from injury. We'll bring Sterling on for him, and Sterling can just slot straight into that box-to-box midfielder position. And hopefully that avoids us re-injuring Matty Cash, because he has been a very important player for us this season. Right. Last substitution, and I don't know why I sang that. I mean, there's not much variety there, is there? I mean, we might drop Hamilton back to left back, and then bring Mark Brown on in midfield. He's not really an attacking midfield player, though. Can he do any of these very well? Not really. We'll stick him in as a ball-winning midfielder. I feel like we've probably weakened the team significantly there, though. So that might end up being a bad decision if Ross County come back in and get an equaliser now. And they are the team that are attacking, but Miguel collects it in nicely. And we want to sign him permanently in the summer. That's one of the jobs for the summer. Sign Norberto Miguel permanently. But Knox is in again here. And what a goal from Matthew Knox. That is quite ridiculous. We've scored two fairly straightforward goals so far this game, but that is just a piece of individual brilliance from so far out. He just absolutely thumped that into the top corner. Top half is secure. Now we just need to push on and try and get ourselves into the Europa League. That is an amazing goal from Matthew Knox, and we just need to try and keep hold of him for next season, because he is scoring a hatful of goals. I think he's still the top scorer in the SPL. And what a goal that was. You've seen both sides of him in that game. He scored a tap in, an absolute screamer. And it's rare to have a player who can do both of those. Whew, breathe. Let's go and hopefully beat Inverness as well. Right, no need for any changes for the second of these two games. Ryan Hardy comes back onto the bench. He was injured for the last game, but has now recovered enough to take a place on the bench. But other than that, we have got the same 11 players, because they just played incredibly well against Ross County. Yes, I want to sign Norberto Miguel. It's not the last day of the season. Why would it be the last time we saw him in a Hamilton shirt? I don't understand. unless the game doesn't realise that we've got more games to play. I guess because there's no more games on the schedule after this, it doesn't realise there's more games to play. Sports Interactive, that feels like something you can fix. The game should know that there's 6 more games after this one. We just don't know what they are yet. Although it is starting to take shape a little bit, because looking at the league table, it's definitely us, Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, and then 2 of Hearts, Dundee United, Dundee, Ross County. So 2 of the 4 places still to be decided. It's Hearts and Dundee at the moment. Dundee have just leapt above Dundee United. I guess they went down in their game. Knox is through on goal here. Forces a good save out. Is that Luke McGee, current Posh goalkeeper? Hold on, I want to have a look at him. Yes, it is Luke McGee. Goodness me. Hello, Luke McGee. As I record this, he's just about playing for Posh against Chelsea, which, as you can see, I'm not at. Couldn't get tickets. Not a season ticket holder these days. Very upsetting. It's also probably the closest to release time I've ever recorded a video for this series, because it is very close to 3 o'clock. This video is supposed to be out at 4 o'clock. Let's hope we don't have any problems editing or rendering today. But that is a nice little well-worked goal again. Cash through ball to Burkhart. Luke McGee, who better not be making mistakes like that this afternoon in real life. But we don't mind them happening in-game. That's acceptable. Right, Inverness trying to come at us again. Hendry with the interception. Knox is through again, but very wide. But that's a decent ball through from the position that he found himself in. It wasn't. It was a load of trash. I'm just trying to make it sound positive. And Burkhart fires wide. That's our 3rd clear-cut chance of the game. We should really be more than 1-0 up. Luke McGee's obviously a good goalkeeper. Right. How do I stop him being highlighted? I want to take that circle off him. I double clicked on him to make the circle appear, but double clicking doesn't seem to then take the circle out. There it does. See, FM tutorials with Kev, that's what this is all about. They're in again here, but we get the interception in. We've got to remember, that kind of spoils what I was about to say, we've got to remember this isn't just about a top half finish anymore, because we've got that secured. Top half finish definitely happens. What our focus has to be over these last 6 games is securing that European spot. There is a European spot available for 4th place in the league, I think. As of right now, with it being a draw, we're 6 points, 5 points clear of Dundee, and it's going to be Dundee and Hearts here with us. That is, I mean, look how are Ross County down to 8th. That is one of the biggest collapses I've ever seen in my history of playing Football Manager. Knox is not having a good game, so Babos is coming on for him. We're also going to take off Aaron Jackson and bring on Michael Devlin. Try the Devlin and McIntosh combination. We've not really tried yet, but they're wearing the 4 and 5 shirts. They're both products of the Hamilton youth system, although 15 years apart. Jackson with a decent interception. Cash tried to play the ball over for Burkhart, but it's intercepted. And I've made the mistake of causing their goalkeeper to have a blinder by clicking on him. I mean, I've done even worse than saying his name. I've clicked on him, and now they're in again. It's now 2-1. Where are that? I mean, they're second bottom. We should not be losing to teams like this. This is ridiculous. But they've managed to get in behind us. Cross comes in. Unfamiliar central defensive partnership. And McIntosh should have done much, much better with that. I have my doubts about McIntosh. I know he's very young. But I'm thinking we might be looking to sell him in the summer if we get silly offers like £2-3 million for him again. I think he might be on his way, because I want to get Jackson and Devlin back together again. He's having another poor game, Steve McIntosh, but we don't have anyone to bring on for him because we've already made the substitution. I was perhaps a little bit over keen early on to make a substitution. Right, Harfield is going to come off. Usual substitution. Hamilton drops back, and we'll bring Ben Sterling on in midfield. Push Doherty out to the playmaker position. We've got 10 minutes to try and salvage something from this game, and we should not be in this position at all. There's now only a 4-point gap between us and Dundee, which when we've got to play Celtic and Rangers again, which obviously they're going to have to as well, but we've got at least 2 more defeats after this one. We need to get some points on the board to try and secure that European spot. It's a really unpredictable league, considering, I mean, we've got those big 3 who've just run away with things, but the other 9 teams behind them, there's not a lot between any of us. Any of us can go on a good run or a bad run, as both us and Ross County have shown this season. I don't know that it's that much of an achievement taking us up from an 11th place finish last year up to a top half finish this year, because quality-wise, is there much difference in quality between those two positions? It's very difficult to say. Right, presumably we find out our fixtures now for the next part of the season. I don't really know. There you go. Prepares for... hold on, let's get this out of the way. Yeah, he'll learn from the experience. Don't know who he is. Still don't know who he is. There we go. That's that done. So, as the league is now ready to split into two. The top 6 will fight for the title. Yeah, we will. And continental competition places, and the bottom 6 will battle relegation. We can't get relegated anymore. That's a nice position to be in. Teams in opposing sections will play no further matches and can no longer overtake each other in the table. That's it. So 7th place could finish on more points than 6th place. Aberdeen fans will be embarrassed to see their club battle to survive. Wow, they're sat in 12th place. Aberdeen won the league 2 years ago. I feel like I should point that out as often as possible. They won the league in 2019-20 and are now bottom, and rock bottom as well. They're going down. Wowzers. That, again, another example of how easy it is to have a collapse. And look at that solid line there. Not seen a solid line like that in Football Manager before. And I assume the likes of Dundee United, Ross County, Partick Thistle, they're probably all going to finish on more points than Dundee and Hearts because they've got much easier games coming up. What an interesting system and an unusual way to do things. If you've enjoyed that, make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.